Hey everybody, just doing another BYD video. Should I buy a BYD Atto free in 2023? So here's the car. We're just doing another free charging session at our local shopping centre. So we get 400 Ks for free. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal at the moment in Australia. So yeah, that's one of the big advantages of buying EV. There won't be any more visits to the petrol station, and where we live, we can charge always for free at the moment, which means that we're saving around $80 to $100 a week in fuel. So that's probably one of the main reasons why I wanted to get an EV. My car was a 6-cylinder SUV, and it uses about $26 per 100 Ks, so $100 to fill the tank. And we're getting that $100 of that range here at our local shopping centre. And it's costing, instead of costing $100, it's costing us $0. So big savings. The biggest savings for EVs are in the petrol, so that would be, at the moment, if you're using solar or you're charging them free charges, you could be saving up to $5,000 a year. So I'm hoping to have this car paid off in about 8 or 9 years, just on petrol alone. So what other advantages do you have with EVs? Well, yeah, if we could charge at home, in Sydney at the moment, electricity is 25 cents per kilowatt hour. It's about $18 to fill a tank, which gives us 400 Ks. So still a lot cheaper than $100 or $50 that a petrol car, the best petrol car can probably get. It would cost $50 for 400 Ks at the moment. Why did we choose the Atto free? Well, I guess I didn't want to spend more than $50,000 on a car, so it was a choice between this one and the MG ZS EV. To be honest, when I compare the cars side by side, the big thing for me is the battery in this is the 60 kilowatt hour battery, and it does 400 kilometers around the city, probably 300 at 110. So the range is definitely the advantage over the MG at the moment. MG comes with a 50 kilowatt hour battery in Australia, and the range is only around 300 Ks. And after doing a 900K road trip, talking to a few MG drivers, they have to stop every charger they find, and we only need to stop every 250 Ks. So they charge twice as often as what we do on a road trip, which makes a big difference. And plus, I believe the technology in this car, the adaptive cruise control, the lane keeping assist, the tablet screen, the build quality of this car is far superior to what MG has to offer. So that's why I chose the Atto free. Would I buy an ICE car now? That's a big question that I looked at, and I after looking at some of the big manufacturers, they've actually ceased research and development on internal combustion engines. So that's the end of the road for the internal combustion engine. If you're not going to do any research and development on your cars, you don't intend to make those cars very much longer. So I reckon in 5 years' time, if you're going to sell a petrol car that you just bought for $50,000, I don't know if it'll be that popular on the market unless the price of fuel drops a lot. So I think just EVs are just going to take over. So another big advantage of buying an EV in Australia anyway, or probably a lot of countries are the same, we have cashbacks. So on this particular car, I got $3,000 cashback for the government, and I got what's called free stamp duty, which is $1,500, I think. When you purchase a car, you have to pay this stamp duty tax, and that was free on this car, so nearly $4,500 in savings. And we also have another advantage that not many people know about, and that's if you have a full-time job, you can do what's called a novated lease. So that if you were to do that, you can lease this vehicle for $220 a week over 3 years. If it was an ICE car, you would have to pay what's called a fringe benefits tax on that purchase, on that lease. And if you have an EV, you don't have to pay that fringe benefits tax. And I don't know the exact difference in the numbers, but I've been told it's significant. So it's probably another $10,000 saving there. If you were to lease an ICE car over one of these, you'd be paying $10,000 more. So another advantage to get an EV if you weren't purchasing the car outright. After owning this car for 3 months and doing 2,000-kilometre road trip from Sydney to Queensland, I can tell you now that driving an EV on a long-distance road trip is much more comfortable than driving an ICE car. Why is that? I don't know if it was because I had the stopping, but there's no noise of the motor, there's no vibration, there's no harshness. It's just like sailing down the freeway, and you have adaptive cruise control on this particular car and the lane keep assist, which means you don't have to steer the car, you don't have to touch the accelerator. You're just 2 fingers on the wheel, and that's how you drive, and it's super comfortable to drive like that. And I just drove another road trip from Sydney to Melbourne in an ICE car, and I was absolutely knackered. And a month before, only 3 weeks before, I did it in this car, and I felt fantastic after I was finished. But yeah, so the seats, everything is. So I didn't get a sore back or anything like that. But after driving 10 hours in the ICE car, I was just knackered. So it's just far less fatigue in a petrol car, in an ICE car. So if you're the type of person that does a lot of driving, I don't think. I think people would try to steer away from doing a lot of driving in an EV, but I would say the opposite. I would say EV's far more comfortable if you drive a lot of kilometres. So definitely recommend it. So that's about all we've got for today. So if you're in Australia and you're looking at EVs, you don't want to buy one of these Teslas, which is right next to us. If you don't want to spend the $60,000 for a Tesla, I think this is the best choice at the moment. And I can't see any SUVs coming out anytime soon. But in another month or two, BYD are going to announce the Model 3 competitor, the Seal, which will be roughly the same price as a Model 3 by the looks of things. So if you like sedans more than SUVs, that's probably a much better car. Not much of a cruiser, more of a performance car. But SUVs, I don't think you can beat this one. So I'll see you on the next video.